The 2025 budget shows a significant increase of 15 trillion and naira from the previous budget. What factors do you think contributed to this substantial growth? Is it a result of increased revenue projections, or are there other underlying factors at play?
Well, mainly increased revenue projection. Don't forget that there had been a huge savings in the area of subsidy, which is the most troublesome aspect of our national economic existence. But the truth of it is that savings from subsidy had actually enhanced revenue flow into the coffers of the federal government. And of course, again, the exchange, we've been seeing huge leap in capital, or rather revenue allocation and sharing by FAC every month now. The November sharing, the November FAC 2024 revenue sharing was immensely impressive. A total revenue generated at 3.14 trillion. And that is a record, 3.14 trillion. After all deductions, 1.7 trillion was shared amongst the three tiers of government. Now, what this tells us is that there had been a larger fiscal space with this enhanced and increased revenue generated and being shared by the three tiers of government. So going forward, I believe that the projected revenue to fund the 2025 budget will not be restricted, will not be inhibited. One, if we look at the benchmark, proposal, especially for the crude oil, which is actually 90% of our envisioned earning, it's at $75. I think, despite the fears of some people that with the coming of President Trump in America, there will be a pressure. There will be pressure on pricing of crude oil. I believe that $75, it's the commercial rate even for American oil producers. So if that is constant, and we are able to move from the 1.8 million barrels per day that we have achieved in crude oil production, we should be able, over the next 2 to 3 months, achieve 2.06 million barrels that is projected in the 2025 budget. So the 34.6 trillion revenue that is projected in the 2025 budget, I think is achievable. The achievement of it is important because over the last 6, 7, even 8 years, we have been underperforming in terms of revenue expectations and the real, the projected revenue and the real revenue accomplished. So if we are able to accomplish 34.6 trillion revenue, as it were, I believe that the budget will be properly implemented because the deficit of 13.13 trillion that is also projected in the budget, I know that the Nigerian capital markets, debt markets as it were, it's actually strong enough to provide that bridge. So it's accomplishing the revenue that is the challenge. But I think with what we have now, savings on fuel subsidy, enhanced earnings from we are talking of foreign exchange gains now, and we are not subsidizing so much of that. We would be able to accomplish that, and I believe that even the 47 trillion, as it were, is not exactly too huge as people would want to believe. It is time we start spending big. Nigeria is a huge jurisdiction, and we have huge needs. So the need for us, especially now that the fuel subsidy had been withdrawn, is to provide momentum in terms of capital project implementation that will impact virtually everybody across the country.
Great.